Hi, I'm Reed Holson. Welcome to Ask the Mayor. We are in the lobby of the Denny Sanford Premier Center. Can you believe it? It's been 2 years since the doors have opened. We're here with Mayor Mike Huther and Ask the Mayor. Remember, your questions form the questions we ask on this show, so get in touch with us at siouxfalls.org. Click on the Mayor's office and send your questions to us. Mayor, welcome, and happy anniversary for the 2 years at the event center.
Thank you, Reed, and you're right. It just seems like yesterday we had the big grand opening of our new event center, and now it's 2 years later, and things are just still happening at record pace. And I'm really excited to be here with you, and maybe we'll talk about it a little bit.
So as you look back in 2 years now, is the things that you had envisioned for this building and this facility, has it come true along with the acts that have come and the events that we've had?
Well, you know, we talked about a lot of stuff during the debate, during the discussion on whether we should build this $117 million facility. We had these pretty high goals that we had set, and I will tell you, I'm incredibly pleased. We've hit the goals and more, and you know, whether it be all the shows that we've had, from Elton John to the Eagles to who could forget Sir Paul McCartney and so much more, to operating this facility in the black, and then, you know, the number of people that have enjoyed this facility. We had the 100th busiest event center in the world, and it's located right here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And we did that in year one, and now in year two, we just announced that we even beat those numbers. So who knows, maybe we're number 99 or number 98 this year.
So, you know, physically in the operations, the dollars and cents are working out as a business model.
They are. You know, we tried to tell the people that if they allowed us to build this facility, we would run it truly like a business. And our goal was to operate it in the black. And we are very, very confident that we're doing that and so much more. The revenues are coming in stronger than we had expected. And yes, we are really focused on the expenses as well. But the word is out. This is a very, very functional facility. We intended it to be multi-purpose, and Reed, multi-purpose it is. I mean, we can have a hockey game one night, we can have a rodeo the next night, we can convert it to basketball the night after that, and then we could have some monster conference and convention the night after that. And when you are that versatile in your capacity, you can really turn things over quickly and generate some nice dollars for not only this facility called the Denny Sanford Premier Center, but also for your city. And as we've talked about many, many times on this show, those sales tax dollars are just critical to help, you know, pay for stuff in our town.
And a big snag for the city is Pheasant Fest in 2018. Now help me understand that, because I appreciate hunting and I appreciate the pheasant industry in South Dakota. Why is this gathering such a big deal for us?
Well, Reed, it is. It's, you know, Sir Paul McCartney was probably the monster show for the event center, but in terms of the monster conference or convention for the city of Sioux Falls, Pheasant Fest was the one that we really, really dreamt about in the biggest way. And it was one of those things that we talked about during the debate. And Reed, I'll flat out tell you, I personally received some scrutiny for even talking about it. You know, oh, come on, Mayor. There's no way in the world you're going to get Pheasant Fest here in Sioux Falls. But, you know, thanks to the work of a lot of good people behind the scenes, it's going to happen. It's going to happen in early 2018. And the reason it's so big is that number one, it's going to celebrate pheasant hunting here in South Dakota, which, again, there's not a better place to hunt pheasants than South Dakota. But the reason this one is so big is that not only will it showcase that, but it's going to showcase Sioux Falls, it's going to showcase South Dakota, and it is going to bring in so much money in terms of economic development dollars. It's been estimated anywhere from $5 to $6 million that's going to come into our city, and oh my gosh, it's just phenomenal. And I wish that I could get people to understand the importance of having the event center connected to the convention center, which is connected to the arena, which is connected to the Sheridan, and then which is connected to all this parking and all this this open space. That was the real catalyst for ultimately getting Pheasant Fest here. You have to have that flat floor space. It has to be contiguous. It has to be very, very functional. And that actually happened now because of the event center and more. And then when you throw in, we've got more and more hotels around Sioux Falls, and as well as we've got plenty of flights now in and out of Sioux Falls. You put all that together, that gave folks like the CVB and other business leaders and folks that care about Sioux Falls, it gave them that ammunition to get Pheasant Fest where it belongs and where we hope it stays, Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Is that going to be one of the biggest tests for this facility? Because we've had other contiguous events here, but this one's probably the biggest one.
I think so. I mean, it certainly will be a test, but I know we're up for the challenge. I know we are, and I think that what we'll do is we'll show these people just how capable we are with these monster shows, these monster conferences. And then our goal is let's talk these Pheasant Fest people to have it here a lot more often. And I do like our chances. Again, where in the world are you going to find as many pheasants, as many pheasant hunters, that hospitality that understands hunting and its importance? Where are you going to find a better place than Sioux Falls? You're not. You're not. And now, with this grand facility that we have and this grand location, we know we're going to do it bigger and better than anybody.
And that's coming up in 2018. We'll look forward to that. City is looking at an initiative to ban smoking on city property. Obviously inside you can't, but around now in parks and so forth. Tell us why.
I will. And you know what, folks? That includes the Denny Sanford Premier Center. It includes our parks. It includes these public buildings. I don't know if it's any secret, but personally, I'm pretty biased on this topic. I am. I flat out I don't say the word hate a lot, but I hate smoking. I do. It killed my dad, and there's not a lot of virtues with smoking. In fact, there's none. There's not a lot of virtues with chewing tobacco. In fact, there's none. And what I believe that we can do as a city is to try to, help live well and help others live well, as well as try to teach our young people just how dangerous things like smoking are, chewing tobacco is, and we're going to make a concerted effort to really try to, limit smoking in our city. And so, if it's a public building and it's funded by taxpayer dollars, we don't want folks smoking or chewing tobacco there.
It's going to be a big lifestyle change because right out front here, during events, people like to have a cigarette, maybe golf, cigar, smoke cigarettes, parks, those types of things too.
It's going to be change for a number of folks. There are folks who like to smoke a cigar when they're out there on the golf course. At halftime, maybe at a high school basketball game, they may want to walk outside and smoke a cigarette. They may be able to do that, just not on a public building or in public space. And so, we'll continue to work with the public to try to educate them on the importance, and I think that it's going to go well. And please understand, Reed, and people of Sioux Falls, that we're not the only city in America that has done this. We're not even the only city in South Dakota that has done this. Yankton, for example, they do not allow smoking in their parks. And again, I don't think we should either.
Where are we at in that process?
Well, right now, we've already begun the dialogue with the citizens. We've already begun the dialogue with the council. And now we'll bring it forward to an informational meeting. We'll try to educate the people even more about the virtues of no smoking and no chewing. And then ultimately, we'll work with the council to put together an ordinance to do just that. And then we'll do our best to execute it. Our goal isn't to throw a bunch of people in jail or fine them, if they do it. But again, we do want to educate folks that it's the right thing to do. And if it does pass the muster with the council, we'll execute it as best we can.
Recently, you gave a lot of attention to meth and meth in our communities, not only here, but you hooked up with the mayor from Rapid City and our police chief too. Why the big talk about that right now?
Well, smoking is certainly dangerous, but Sioux Falls, you got to understand something. There is this drug called meth that is unbelievably dangerous, and it is sucking up resources for our city in ways that you can't imagine. And with the help of Mayor Steve Allender out in Rapid City, and then other resources, whether it be the police chief out there and folks like Jill Franken with public health here and Chief Burns, we took a full week and we talked about the dangers of meth and how it's impacting our city and our state and our country. And boy, it was sure well received. And I learned a ton. And folks, if there's one thing, again, that we're trying to help educate folks is this is a drug that you cannot just try it. Because if you try it, you're hooked. And then if you're hooked, boy, it's unbelievably hard to get off this thing. And it'll tear you apart on the inside, on the outside, physically, mentally, emotionally. And then it's going to tear your family apart, and it's going to impact your community in a big, big way. Reed, thanks for continuing the dialogue about meth. It's not a pretty topic. It's one that we probably prefer not to talk about, but I'm glad we are.
And our community's focused, especially our public health department, on a Live Well initiative in Sioux Falls. So confronting about eating well, being well, financial wellness, physical wellness, all of that.
It is, and we are trying to play offense with living well. So much of our attention, so much of our resources happens after the fact when it comes to our health. We're diagnosed with diabetes, and then we pay attention. Our doctor says, boy, you better start eating better, and then we pay attention. Or we've got a family member that is dealing with some mental health challenges, or yes, some drug abuse or alcohol challenges, then we pay attention. In Sioux Falls, South Dakota, we're trying to play offense when it comes to living well. Helping people understand these virtues of doing things right from the beginning, so that you don't have to deal with the consequences of eating bad or putting bad things in your body or waiting too long to get those mental health needs taken care of that so many families are burdened with.
And we've had lots of great events, growing events, healthy events. Sioux Falls Marathon and all kinds of other active events are starting to happen.
Yeah, the Sioux Falls Marathon, the biggest we've ever done. And I ran the half marathon. I didn't do it in Sioux Falls. I did it a week later in Omaha. And I think that more and more of us are looking at, running, whether it be a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, or yes, a full marathon. We use it not only to physically stay healthy, but mentally stay sharp as well. And it's been working for me for a long, long time. And obviously it's catching on. In Sioux Falls, we've taken this marathon and we just keep building it and building it and building it, and really it's becoming one of the big events that we do in our city. It's a qualifier for the Boston Marathon, which is a big deal. And again, it's bringing people from all over the country to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and every now and then they spend some bucks while they're here.
It's exciting. You want to find out more about our Live Well initiatives in the city of Sioux Falls and the events that the mayor's talking about, just go to livewellsiouxfalls.org. We come back from the Denny Sanford Premier Center. We've had about 10 inches of rain the last month or so. How did the infrastructure hold up? The mayor will tell us when we come back next.
Hi, I'm Dr. Lichter from Falls Community Health, here to talk to you today about the influenza vaccine. Influenza season is here, and influenza kills thousands of people each year, which is why we all need to do our part to get vaccinated and help minimize the spread. You can help protect the people who are at greatest risk of becoming seriously ill from the flu, such as older adults and infants younger than 6 months old who are too young to get vaccinated. You cannot get the flu from the vaccine, but you may have some minor aches and pains afterwards. Talk to your doctor for more information and get your flu vaccine today.
And we're back at Ask the Mayor at the Denny Sanford Premier Center. Happy second anniversary, Mayor Huether. This grand building, very successful. We've had a lot of great shows. If you would have guessed that Paul McCartney, Elton John, the Eagles, the top country bands in the country would be here this first 2 years, people would have said, that's a little aggressive, but it came true.
It did. And I think the word is getting out all across the country, and as Sir Paul is evidence, all across the world about our new event center and just how well we're doing. We have some rabid fans here, whether it be bull riding or rock shows or even these Cirque du Soleil shows. We have rabid fans, and they want to be part of this this venture called the events going on at the event center. And I'm just thrilled by it. And then you throw on again the convention center and the arena and all the capabilities. I think the sky's the limit. Chris Semrau and Terry Torkelson of SMG, they'll tell you that normally there's this really big bump that you get right at the beginning of a new event center. And the odds are not very good that you're going to have a bigger second year or third year. Well, we proved that wrong, didn't we? Mm-hmm. We actually had a bigger second year than we had in our first year. And because of that, again, now we're just going to reach even higher. And again, I like our chances.
Pheasant Fest coming in 2018. So one of the biggest things to attract those big conventions and meetings is hotel space. There's dirt being moved in this neighborhood. Yeah. New hotel starting up by Elmwood. Yeah. What's the future look like?
Within a stone's throw away from the Premier Center, there's a brand new hotel that's going to be opening up. It's a Holiday Inn and Suites with a Crooked Pint Ale House, more conference rooms, and even a South Dakota Golf Hall of Fame is going to happen right across the street on Russell. And that is so important, Sioux Falls. We talked about Pheasant Fest and how that was just a dream that we thought was just not going to be possible. Well, we also have another dream, Sioux Falls, and that is we want to get Division I NCAA men's basketball. We want that tournament, or at least a part of that tournament, here in Sioux Falls. We've got the building, we've got the conference space, that flat floor space, we've got the air travel in and out now. We've proven that we can be very, very capable in terms of executing these things. We did that with the NCAA women's, but there was one piece that was really missing, and that was hotels, and these bigger hotels that have bigger capacities. Now, with the addition of this hotel right across the street, we really like our chances to go back to the NCAA and secure that NCAA men's basketball tournament. And so again, it's all part of the journey, all part of the plan, and I think we're executing it well. Darren Smith, he's no longer on the city team. He's still at the Washington Pavilion, of course. But Darren, I just want to thank him personally because he worked his tail off in the spirit of trying to make that happen. And ultimately, we found a really good partner. We're gonna, do it right there at the Elmwood Golf Course and create this destination where you can, golf during the morning, go out and have a beer and a burger, go back and golf again, and then stay at the Holiday Inn, and then maybe go to a concert that night and do it all over again the next day. They do it in Florida, they do it in Arizona, they do it in California, and we're going to be doing it in South Dakota too. And I just love it.
We'll look forward to the shovels starting to move over there. The sign's up, I saw it yesterday.
Yes,
so bet. Things are happening over there. Lots of action with the city council and city government. Help us, let's give a review of the difference between the executive branch, which is obviously you, and the mayor's office and the city council, and how all that works.
I do think that most people probably don't understand that we have a strong mayor form of government here in Sioux Falls. And so that you've got the executive branch, which really executes the budget, executes the laws and the policies and the codes of our city. You've got the legislative branch, which is the city council. They approve that budget. They determine ultimately where that money's going to be spent. as well as they determine the laws, the codes, the policies of the city. And we do work collaboratively, but at the same time, we are also separate and distinct, and we are checks and balances on each other. There was some discussion with the city administration building, and sometimes some of that conversation got a bit heated. One of the things that I found probably a little frustrating and maybe even a little disturbing is that, we had some folks out there that were really, I'm going to say flat out attacking or disparaging people like City Clerk Tom Greco or City Attorney David Fifley. And I think that what people really need to understand is that two folks like this, they are working as best they can on behalf of the citizens of Sioux Falls. They don't, just are focused on the mayor or some city councilor. They're doing it on what they think is best for the city of Sioux Falls. And this job is hard enough, being in public service, being a city clerk, being a counselor, being a city attorney, being any city employee. This job is hard enough without having to, deal with people who are really just saying the most disparaging things about you, or even making things up that truly aren't real or factual. But at the same time, one thing I know about folks like Tom Greco or Dave Fifley, they'll get back up the next day and they'll get right back in the ring and they'll keep fighting for the citizens of Sioux Falls just like all the other 1,200 plus city employees do.
One of the things to keep in mind is that you're responsible for operations to present a budget to the city council and help us all understand how you present the budget, but then the city council can make amendments or appropriations in addition to your budget.
And they do. We do. We spend months, and I'm talking almost about 8 months putting together an annual budget, whether it be an operating budget or a capital budget. We do that in the executive branch with all the department heads and all the employees working together to make that happen. Then we'll present our recommended budget to the legislative branch or the council. And then they do a bunch of due diligence. They ask a bunch of questions. And yes, they scrutinize those numbers as well. But ultimately, they do make the decisions on what's going to get approved or not. And occasionally, doesn't happen a lot, but occasionally the city council will put forward some amendments to that budget. And I respect it, I do. And in fact, I think it's good for government that we do have these amendments that come forth. But there is one thing that I would ask any city councilor to consider in the future, and that is if you are going to make an amendment, and I don't mind if you do, I think that you should bring it forth earlier so that not only the executive branch has a chance to be prepared for it and can help answer questions, but also I think it gives the citizens a chance to kind of weigh in as well. And ultimately, that's what we'd like to see happen. Most of the time it does, but every now and then we'll get a little surprise from a counselor or two at the last minute. And I learned this early on, Reed, when I was first elected. I had counselors who said, Mayor, if there's one thing that the council doesn't like, that is surprises. Well, guess what, City Council? The mayor and the executive branch, we like the same thing. So again, we've got a good thing going here. Our budget is rock solid once again. We live within our means. This city is doing well. Our economy is still growing. But again, I think that I just want folks to understand this is such a challenging process, but we really take it seriously. And that includes the city council and the executive branch and the citizens. I think we do it really well here.
Well, after a relatively dry summer, we got a lot of rain recently, about 10 inches in the last few weeks. One of the rainfalls was almost 7 inches of rain. Yeah. We've spent a lot of money in infrastructure and improving our sanitary storm sewer. How did things hold up?
Reed, since I've been your mayor, we've had 3 100-year rain events. Last August, we had that 1,000-year rain event. And now, just a couple of weeks ago, my first 350-year rain event. And it came unexpectedly again. Going back to that budget, we really do scrutinize where that money goes. And one of the places where we've put your tax dollars, Sioux Falls, is in that infrastructure. Not only the stuff that you can see above the ground, like the Denny Sanford Premier Center, our roads, our bridges, but just as importantly, that infrastructure under the ground, like that stormwater system that we have. And these improvements that we've made over the last 6.5 years, they are working wonders. So yeah, we can take a 350-year rain event, and certainly we can be concerned for a couple of hours, and all of a sudden the rain's done, the water goes away, the citizens are protected, their property is safe and secure, and we move on and we get ready for the next one. And mark my words, Reed, there's going to be another one. And when it happens, we'll be ready.
Well, quickly in closing, snow season's coming.
Oh boy.
We have our plows and everything ready, snow gates, all of that ready to go?
We're going to be as ready as any city in America. Really proud of our snow removal team. And we do it well here. We do it well. We're very efficient. We try to maximize those taxpayer dollars, but we are ready. And we've learned more and more about these snow gate contraptions. We know how they work, and we know how to make them serve our citizens, improve our quality of life. And again, it's going very, very well. So snow, come on, we bring it on. We're ready for you. And again, we believe we've got the highest quality of life in America. In fact, we just named the #2 place in America to raise your kids, to raise your family. There was one town in Iowa that beat us, but #2 in America, you can't beat that. And one of the reasons we do that is we do invest in quality of life. We do keep our citizens safe. We do have a really, really good government. And yes, we're just proud of the things going on. And so again, Reed, thanks for meeting me back here at the Events Center. 2 years have gone by. It's been a wonderful journey, but I'm just as excited about year 3. I think it's going to be a good one. I know it's going to be a good one.
Mayor Huther, thank you.
You bet, Reed.
We appreciate it very much from the Denny Sanford Premier Center. Don't forget, snow season is coming, as we talked about. Sign up for snow alerts, because we'll tell you when there's a snow alert in the city and where and when you should park your car. I hate to tell you about it in October here, but it's coming. Find it at siouxfalls.org. Great place to find a lot of other great things to connect you with your city council, mayor's office, and other departments of the city. I'm Reed Holson. Thank you for watching Ask the Mayor.